Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to your daily energy check. This is gonna be a classic read. I have brought other decks to my new leg of my trip, which now takes me to another place, the ocean side. I'm not gonna disclose too much for now, but I had a chance to exchange a couple of decks, let's put it that way. So I've got the Cosmic Journey Oracle today for our Oracle message for each of the twins, see where they are. And then we'll go guess which deck is it gonna be. It's the Light Seers deck for the main read. And then I have the spellcasters with me today for the clarifications. So what the questions are gonna be, so the spread is gonna be our classic spread. We're going to take a look at the energies of both the feminine and the masculine collective, and what else do we need to know about the journey right now. The last question is going to be what action is each of the collectives taking towards one another, right? And of course, please remember, because I get those questions still from time to time, that there's so many scenarios in real life. Starting with scenarios where we think we know that the person is our twin flame, but they actually aren't. They're a soulmate or a karmic, which is actually also a soulmate. So in my inner vocabulary, I call them all soulmates, right? But meaning that it's a little bit different variety, right, of a life partner than a twin flame would be, right? And so there could be, of course, cases when we don't have anyone specific in mind, but we still, one way or another, we have a vision, we have a knowing that we're on a twin flame journey. We could be knowing that it's that person, or being convinced it's them, and just not being in touch, so we don't, for a while, right? Some people are in separation for years, and again, it gets tricky because we may not know what's really going on and how to connect the dots. So please take it as it resonates for you. I always say it, and it is very true, that it's up for you to interpret how does it call for you. But regardless of that, it always is going to provide insight for you, for yourself, for your own space. And if you ask me, the person who's been on this journey for quite a few years, it is the most important thing, that you get a glimpse of insight, of guidance, of where you are, where you're headed, what could be a good idea to do next, to think about, right? That's gold, that's what we need really. And then remember to enjoy our lives every moment, every turn, whether it means we're sharing it with someone else or maybe for now we don't. All right, with all that said, I'm gonna get started. Thank you for being here, and of course, if you enjoy my readings, don't forget to click that like button, please. We are officially now in Mercury retrograde season. It's gonna last for 3 weeks. It's Mercury retrograde in Leo, and if you're interested in more information on that, my previous reading was a deeper dive into Mercury retrograde. I'll link it in the comments for you guys to check out, but I dive a lot deeper into the themes. I talk about Leo flavor to this Mercury retrograde, and we go into an actual tarot reading for that. All right, what do we have for divine feminines? Number 36, you contain the entire universe encoded within you. All right, we are the creatures of the divine. If I can recall the concept of Christianity, they specifically mention that human beings, that people have been created following the image of God. So this is to remember that, to me, it's like a reflection on the microcosm and macrocosm of society, right? And you may feel like what happens in your life is very personal, very insular to what you are going through, to what you're feeling, and nobody else is interested, could make use of it or whatever. But actually it's not true, because we do represent a bigger group, a community, and if anything, we are part of nature, we're impacted by celestial objects and all this kind of thing, where we are a representative of this big macrocosm, right? And in many levels, there are so many more parallels that we can draw between the universe at large and our life. Different types of cycles and phases, the way we process things, the way we transform, right? So it's important to keep in mind that, especially as a light worker, and if you're on a twin flame journey, that's another important point to remember, my dear divine feminines, that if you're a light worker, you're supposed to share your light with the world. And the most straightforward way to do it is through sharing your experience, sharing your story, sharing your findings. That's already rich and provides a lot of food for thought for other people who will see it, who will hear it. Now, masculines, you've got card number 12. Enter, one step forward, one step onward. Consistency is key. Continue taking action. This is very much a Knight of Pentacles energy, where you don't necessarily know 100% whether this is the right direction. You don't see how it connects to your bigger goal necessarily, right? Maybe it's just a hunch, right? But you still keep going because you're following that inner knowing, right? And you don't need the proof to continue. Like, you took a few steps and you're like, okay, now let me see if that's right, because if it's not, I might not do it. No, it's just like, okay, maybe I don't see the results that I was hoping for yet, but I'm gonna stick with this and I'm gonna continue because I do believe in this journey. And for some of you, it will be more on the personal front, for others more on the professional front. At the end of the day, it's just as important. Okay, let's see what we have with tarot for today. All right, Six of Cups, bottom of the deck. And this is the deck where Six of Cups is a lot about, well, it's reminiscent of childhood, but also remembering dreams and wishes, and inspiration that you had, and a lot of times it's something that didn't happen, or maybe suddenly it's the opposite way and you suddenly see the connection of like, okay, I'm doing what I'm doing in life, and I actually remember now when it all started, and that was when I was like 4 years old, and this and that happened, and it's like, whoa, just blows your mind that it actually started all the way there, and you may not even have remembered it consciously. All right, Hangman. This is that retrograde energy, actually, to stop and contemplate, right? To maybe a little bit of reminiscing, but also seeing like, how did those events from the past made you the person that you are today, and how can that knowledge help you in taking next steps in your journey, right? Like, what kind of method were you using, right? How did it inspire you? Feminines, your energy right now is Eight of Swords clarified by the Magician. So very interesting, right? Very different energy, but also this is a minor arcana, this is a major arcana. So it's like this power is almost like pushing you out into the world to take action, to be out there, to do things, but there's this conscious mind that's stopping you and like just stops you in your tracks and just like keeps saying, nope, that's not for you, nope, that's not a good time, nope, you don't know enough about this, right? Like, there's all this overthinking, right? So it's very important to, what's the right word, to reconcile both energies. Otherwise, it's only gonna continue growing in terms of this overwhelm and frustration, right? And God knows where that will take you in terms of your mental health. So don't disregard the nudge. Go to your version of church, go into your spiritual practice and see how you can get more clarity on that, and see how you can remove this monkey mind filter, right? At least for a little while, so you can hear it more vividly, more loudly, what this magician energy is getting you into, right? And then you can work with brain more calmly, more kindly, so it's not like a big shock that just throws you off, right? It doesn't have to be that way, but at least you're allowing for things to come in, and that's a lot of times is the most important part, really, if you ask me. Oh my God, for masculines we see the magician clarified by 9 of Cups. Yeah, so the magician energy again, surprise, surprise. But it is on the forefront here. And it's more like especially with that 6 of Cups energy I'm hearing. And I feel like I've seen that in the previous reading too. Masculines are seeing how do I put this? Masculines are seeing how they are the creator of their life, of their fate, and how they're the genie in the bottle that's gonna make their dreams come true. Nobody else, nobody magically just gonna appear at the doorstep and give them what they want, right? And it's gonna be like almost anonymous, just take it. Yeah, whatever you wished for, it's here. No, it's like, I need to create that for myself. And that's where the true masculine energy evolves, right? The integrated masculine. And continuing with one step forward, one step onward. Even if logically, rationally, the reality doesn't seem to reflect. Still continue taking those steps. One foot in front of the other. So it's getting a little long, so I'm gonna move a little faster with the reading. Additional question for today. 5 of Swords clarified by Queen of Pentacles. So the additional question is, how do I become more successful in life? What is it that I'm doing or I'm not doing? Like the usual vibe of like, I feel like I deserve more in life. I want to have a different lifestyle. Maybe like I want to have a different type of career and life altogether. How do I do it? Why is it just not showing up for me? I've done a lot of work on myself. Why is it not showing up? Wow. Feminines have King of Pentacles clarified by the Empress. Yeah, so feminines, what do you need to know? That first of all, to a certain degree, and please take it with a grain of salt what I'm gonna say now, to a certain degree your full success in whatever external area you're thinking about depends on where your masculine is and how harmonious is your communication, if you are even in communication, right? So I'm not saying that it's entirely tied together and you can't really do much without them being on board and being in alignment. But this is just a reminder that with twin flames, there are certain missions, there's certain work that's supposed to be done together by the twins. And it's not just about, oh, now it's 2 people instead of 1. No, it's like your gifts and skills are so complementary that to a certain degree, when you're together, you're gonna unlock each other in a new way, right? And then this new ideas and new flair is gonna come in and guide you forward. So don't think that whatever you have now is your best, is as much as you can do. That's not true. But trust that you are taking steps and continue seeing the steps that you can take in your Empress energy more than anything else. And Empress, if you remember, embraces the energy of all the queens. So you're supposed to have mastery in all the elements, right? And you can continue perfecting this. And of course, part of that perfection is going to be the practical sense of it, right? That's where Pentacles come in. And that's going to help you uncover and, discover new means of reaching the success that you want or the success that you need. What do masculines need to know about it? We've got the world in reverse, clarified by 9 of Wands. So masculines, try to get out of your own way in this case. That's what I'm seeing for you, because it seems like you're stopping yourself in your tracks, kind of synchronistically with what the feminine is doing, but this is in the context of success. This is like you want it so badly that you're actually doing the wrong things and you're blocking the flow of energy, which is really important. So it's something that you can work on, something that you're asked to work on at this time. The energy is favorable for that. It's up to you to choose to focus on it and see where your own fear is keeping you back, or where you're not taking the opportunities that come in just because they seem out of your usual box. So what kind of action are the feminines taking towards their masculine at this time? Page of Swords, clarified by Chariot. I like it because both of this is kind of about movement. Hello, Mercury retrograde. But it's nice. I love it. So the feminines essentially are preparing what they're gonna say, right? Like there is a direction that they're taking, and it's interesting because I get a few scenarios here. For some, divine feminines know that the direction they're about to take, or the way this is going, is taking them away from the masculine. And they want to speak about that to the masculine, but they know to try to explain, to set the scene, whatever could be the reasoning. But they know it's not going to be an easy conversation, and the masculine may not understand this as something that's going to be good for both of us, It's like we're walking away from each other, it seems. We're getting farther and farther away from each other. For others, it's more about the path that the feminine takes. It's like, and explaining how the choices that the feminine is making for herself are actually in alignment with what is necessary for union, right? And in that second scenario, it's not necessarily a way, but it still may not be logical, may not be easily understood by the masculine. Like, why are you doing this? Why are we even here, right? So it's about, first, for the feminine to understand better how to even put it in words and explain, and then actually deliver the message, right? So like both will have a learning experience here. Oh my God, Chariot and Wheel of Fortune. Yes, so another synchronicity, and masculines also know that they're actually moving along on this journey. They are learning to surrender so that they don't have to be, like in this scenario with the carriage and the horses, they don't have to be manning the carriage and checking up on the horses 24/7, right? It's like, okay, I know the divine is on it with me, so once in a while I can take a nap, I can relax, I can have some food, whatever, right? Symbolically here. But I trust that when I'm not manning the carriage and I'm not eyeing where the horses are going, that there's still that universal guidance that's taking us into the right direction, and believe in that, right? So it's not, again, I'm sensing that it's not easy for the more rational, masculines to take this in and trust it, and see the connection between where they are now and where the feminine is. But this is a learning process. This is work in progress for them to master. So essentially, it doesn't seem like they're taking specific steps towards feminine, but they actually are. That's the plot twist. And for masculines watching, think about that. And if it's still nothing comes to you, set that intention for a dream, for a meditation, for a prayer, to get more clarity on what's the connection. If that's something that you feel like will inspire you very much on your current leg of the journey. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I love you all. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time,